The sun had barely risen over the city of New York when Evan, a successful lawyer in his late 30s, woke up to the sound of his alarm clock ringing. He stretched his arms and yawned, the weight of another busy day ahead sinking in. Yet there was something different about today. It wasn't just the usual pile of cases and paperwork waiting for him at the office. It was a nagging feeling that had been growing stronger over the past few months. The feeling that his life, despite all his achievements, was missing something. Evan had always prided himself on his success. He had a beautiful apartment in Manhattan, drove a luxury car, and wore the best suits money could buy. But lately something felt hollow. Even though he had everything that most people dreamed of, he couldn't shake the sense of dissatisfaction. His friends, family, and even colleagues had been telling him the same thing for years: you need to find your purpose. There's more to life than just work and status. One evening, as Evan was finishing a late dinner at his apartment, scrolling through his phone as he usually did, an old high school friend, Sarah, messaged him out of the blue. She was someone Evan hadn't spoken to in years. They had both attended the same church during their teenage years, but Evan had long since drifted away. "Hey Evan, I know it's been a while, but I've been thinking about you. I know you're busy, but maybe we could catch up sometime? I've been attending church a lot lately, and it's been such a grounding experience for me. I'd love to hear how you've been." Evan paused as he read her message. Sarah had always been someone who seemed so devoted to her faith, but Evan couldn't help but wonder if that was something that still held meaning in today's fast-paced, secular world. He thought about it for a moment, then responded, "Hey Sarah, it's been forever. Sure, let's catch up sometime." The following weekend, Evan and Sarah met at a small coffee shop in the city. As they sat across from each other, their conversation naturally shifted to the topic of faith. Sarah shared how attending church had helped her find peace and direction in her life. She spoke of the sense of community she found, the comfort of prayer, and the purpose that her belief gave her. Evan, however, was skeptical. "I mean, Sarah, I'm not sure if I believe in all of that. I've worked hard to get to where I am, and I've always believed that success is about putting in the effort and making your own way. I don't really see how religion fits into that." Sarah smiled gently and said, "I get that, Evan. I used to think the same way. But I've realized that faith isn't just about what you believe in. It's about how you live your life, how you treat others, and how you find meaning in the world around you." Evan left the coffee shop feeling both conflicted and intrigued. He hadn't really considered the idea of faith in years, and now it was suddenly on his mind again. Over the next few days, he found himself reflecting on the conversation, wondering if there might be more to life than just success and wealth. But despite the curiosity, Evan couldn't bring himself to take the plunge. Religion, he thought, was for people who needed comfort and guidance, something that didn't really apply to someone like him. That was until one morning, while walking through the busy streets of New York, he saw a man sitting on the sidewalk, his clothes ragged, his face weathered by the hardships of life. People passed by him, ignoring his presence, too absorbed in their own worlds to notice. But as Evan walked by, the man looked up and met his eyes. There was a quiet strength in his gaze, a calm that Evan couldn't quite understand. The man smiled slightly, then said, "Good morning, sir. I may not have much, but I have my faith. And that's enough." Evan stopped in his tracks. For the first time in a long time, he felt a deep sense of humility wash over him. Here was someone who had nothing, but his faith seemed to give him a kind of peace that Evan couldn't buy with all the wealth and success he had accumulated. The encounter shook him, and it made him reconsider everything he thought he knew about religion. Evan began to explore his thoughts on faith more deeply. He started reading books, watching talks, and listening to podcasts about the role of religion in people's lives. He also visited Sarah's church a few times, sitting quietly in the back and observing. At first, he felt out of place, but over time he began to notice the sense of community and support that surrounded him. There was something genuine in the way people interacted with each other, something he hadn't felt in his own life. As Evan continued to explore, he came to realize that being religious wasn't about adhering to a set of rules or beliefs for the sake of tradition. It was about living with purpose, cultivating compassion, and finding a deeper connection to something greater than oneself. It wasn't about perfection, but about striving to be better, to treat others with kindness, and to seek peace in a chaotic world. Ultimately, Evan found that being religious wasn't about needing to follow a specific path or conforming to a certain set of ideals. It was about allowing faith to guide you in making meaningful choices, finding balance in your life, and fostering a sense of purpose and inner peace. As Evan reflected on his own journey, he realized that the question of whether being religious is good or bad depends entirely on the individual's perspective. For some, it might provide the structure and guidance they need to navigate life. For others, it may not resonate as strongly. But the important thing is that faith, in whatever form it takes, can lead to a richer, more fulfilled life if it encourages positive growth, compassion, and a deeper understanding of oneself and the world. As you think about your own beliefs, it's essential to remember that being religious isn't about fitting into a mold or following someone else's expectations. It's about personal growth and finding a source of strength that helps you navigate life's challenges. Faith can offer a sense of purpose, peace, and belonging, and for some, it may be the very thing that helps them weather life's storms. However, if you don't find meaning in religion, that's okay too. The important thing is to seek purpose and fulfillment in whatever way works best for you. Whether through relationships, personal growth, or helping others, the goal is to live a life that feels meaningful and aligned with your values. What's important is that we remain open to exploring different paths in life, learning from others, and reflecting on what brings us true happiness and contentment. If you find that religion or faith is something that resonates with you, then it can be a powerful tool for personal transformation. But remember, it's not the only way to find purpose in life. The journey is yours to define.